Hi, I'm Bill Gordh. I'm a storyteller, and today I'm with a Moroccan musician, Samir LanGus. He's playing the gimbri. We're going to tell a tale from Morocco. The Sultan was getting old. Soon there'd need to be a new Sultan. So the Sultan called in, well, he had 3 kids, 3 sons. And he called in the oldest and he said, "Son, my son, you may be the next Sultan, but I need to find out what you can do in our country, what you can see, what you can find out. So I want you to pick your favorite horse out of the stable and go riding. See what you can see, find out what you can find out, and come back and tell me, and I'll know if you should be our next Sultan." So, the oldest prince went to the stable and he picked out the finest stallion, the fastest stallion he could ride. And he got on that stallion and he took off. He went. He rode and rode and rode and rode and rode and rode and rode across the plains, across the desert, up to the mountains, across to the sea, on and on and on and on and on and on he went. As fast as he could go, he went for 2 months. And he came back. And the Sultan said, "Well, what did you see? What did you hear?" "Oh, Father, it was amazing. I was going here, there. I went to the sea. I went to the mountains. I saw the waterfalls. It was amazing." "What else?" "Well, I was going fast." "What else?" And the Sultan shook his head, looking at his oldest son, and said, "My son, I've seen all that many, 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 many times. That won't do at all. I need to see your brother. Ask him to come in." And so the next brother came in, and the Sultan said the same thing. "I want you to go out. You pick the horse you want to ride, and you go, and you see what you can see, and you hear what you can hear, and you come back and tell me something special." So the second brother jumped on the horse, and he took off. He galloped across, here and there and here and there, here and there and here and there, across to the sea, by the waterfalls, the high hills, here and there and here and there and here and there. He went fast, and he rode and he rode, and he came back. He stayed away for 3 months, and he came back, and his father said, "Well, I see you took a little more time than your big brother. Tell me, what did you see? What did you hear? What did you learn?" And he told him. And the Sultan shook his head and said, "Oh, my son, I've seen all those things hundreds of times. Didn't you see anything different? Go ask your youngest brother to come in." So the youngest brother came in, and the father said, "My son, your 2 older brothers have gone out on their horses quick as quick can be, and they have not told me anything new. Let's see what you can do." Now the youngest brother started thinking about it. "I need some help." And there was a wise woman in the palace, and he went to speak to the wise woman, and he said, "What should I do?" And she said, "Talk to your mother." And so he went to his mother and he told her what was going on. And he said, "Mother, what should I do?" And she said, "Go to the stable and pick the old horse that was your father's when he was a young man the same age as you, when that horse was fleet of foot. Take that horse. And so the youngest went and found the old horse that had been his father's. And he came in to his father and he said, I'm ready to go. And the Sultan smiled and said, oh, you picked my old horse. It's not so fast anymore. I know, but that's okay, Father. That's the one I want. Okay, see what you can do. And so the youngest prince got on the horse. Now where should I go? The horse spoke to him. I'll show you. Follow me. And following a horse when you're riding it, it just means you go where the horse goes. And that's what they did. And he said, horse, can't you go any faster? He said, no, I could. But you can look. You can watch, you can hear, you can see things that you won't see when you're going fast. And so they rode, week after week after week, and the young prince saw many things he had never seen before, and heard many things he had never heard before, and one day they heard a song. What could that be? What could that be? It was a feather. It was a feather singing. The prince looked at the horse looked at the prince looked at the feather. Listen. Listen to that feather. Listen, listen, listen to that feather. It's singing a song. It's telling us to go. It's telling us to go. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. And he picked up the feather. And they rode back to the palace. And the Sultan was waiting. And he had heard the song. He heard the song coming and he started smiling. And the people in the village had heard the song too, and the people in the village were smiling. The song made them happy. The song made them happy. The Sultan said, oh, my son, you've done it. You've done it, you've done it, you've done it, you've done it. And they put the feather on a pillow, and they put the pillow on the windowsill, and so everyone could hear it. And they'd walk by and hear the song, and they'd smile. It was peace in the palace. Peace in the palace, and everybody listening to the song. For 3 days the feather sang on and on and on and on. But then it stopped. The feather stopped. And everybody stopped. And everyone, what? And the Sultan said, what? And he looked at his son, and son said, I don't know. And they looked at the feather and said, what? And the feather said, I can't sing until you bring the bird that I came from. What? I can't sing until you bring the bird that I came from. And the Sultan said to the youngest, well, go find the bird. And the youngest went to the horse and climbed on and said, "Oh boy, I don't know what we do." And the horse said, "Well, I know what we do." "You do?" "Yes, I know what we do. Here's all you do. It's no big deal. This is what you do. You see, you have to build a golden cage with jewels. And in that cage, you put a silver bowl with honey in it, and a golden bowl with sesame seeds in it, and you leave the gate open, and I'll show you where to put it, and the bird will come." "Well, how are we going to pay for that? A golden cage?" "Not the Sultan. The vizier will pay for that." And so the boy went to his father and said, "Father, we need a golden cage." "Don't worry, I know you don't want to pay for it. The vizier will pay for it." The vizier did not want to pay for it, but the Sultan had the last say, and so that's what happened. And they built a golden cage, all jewels over it, and the bowls. And the horse showed them where to place it. And they waited 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, and sure enough, a bird flew in. And when it flew in, the cage door slammed shut. They carried the cage into the palace. The bird saw the feather saw the bird, the feather started singing again. And everybody was happy. "Oh, yay, the song is back. The song is back." And they listened and they listened. And that feather sang for 3 days. And then it stopped. And the Sultan said, "What?" And the boy said, "Oh." And the boy looked at the feather. And the feather said, "The bird's unhappy. I can't sing when my bird's unhappy." "Why are you unhappy?" And the bird said, "I need my princess. I need her back." And the boy said, "What?" "My princess," said the bird. "I need my princess. Then I'll be happy." The Sultan said, "Well, son, you better go get the princess." "What princess?" "She's the daughter of the Sultan of the Spirits." The boy went down, climbed onto the horse. "I don't know where I'm going. The Sultan of the Spirits? What do I do? Where do I? Oh, I don't know what to do." And the horse said, "I do." "You do? What do we do?" "Well, this time, you make a golden ship, a golden sailboat, a big sailboat with jewels on it. It will be beautiful. And on it, you have rowers, beautiful women and men riding on the boat with you. And off you'll set. And of course the vizier will pay for it. The Sultan won't want to pay. And you will ride, and you will find the princess." So the boy went to the Sultan, and the Sultan said, "Go ahead." And the vizier shook his head, but he paid for it. And they made the boat. It was a beautiful boat, golden with jewels, handsome men and beautiful women on board, and they sailed. And they sailed, and on and on and on they went, and on and on and on they went, and on and on and on they went, and on and on and on they went. And they came to the land of the Sultan of the Spirits. And the princess was there, and she saw the ship coming, and she went, "Whoa!" And she waved, and she said, "Come on, come on, come on." And they all got off and they had a wonderful time. Wonderful time. And the prince said to her, "Well, how would you like to come on my boat? Look, it's beautiful, right?" And she said, "Sure, I'd love to come." So she got on the boat and they had a party all into the night. And she fell asleep. And as soon as she was asleep, they set sail. Off they go, across the water, across the water, across the water. There they go, there they go. She woke up. Where am I? What's going on? Where's my home? What's going on here? What are you doing? She got angry. She looked down at her hand. She pulled off her golden ring and threw it into the sea. "I'm not going any further." And the prince said, "Oh, I am sorry, I am sorry, I am sorry." "Well, what's up?" "I am sorry, but you see, do you know that bird of yours?" "Yes, I've not seen it for a long time," said the princess. "I love that bird." "Well, it's at my palace, my father's palace. And the bird is there and the bird misses you very, very much. And so we came to get you. Will you come with us?" And so they moved on and they came back into the palace. And the bird saw the princess, and the princess saw the bird and smiled, and the bird tweeted, and the feather sang. And is happy in the palace again, happy throughout the land. Listen. Listen to that song. The song went on and on and on for 3 days, but then it stopped again. And they said, "Oh no, now what?" And they looked at the feather and they looked at the bird and they looked at the princess, and the princess said, "I need my ring back." And the Sultan looked at the youngest son and said, "Go get the ring." And the youngest son got on the horse and said, "I don't know what to do." And the horse said, "I do. All you need to do is get 200 pounds of lentils, 200 pounds of chickpeas, and 200 pounds of seeds, sesame. Go out into the middle of the sea and throw them in to the Sultan of the sea. And by now you know who's going to pay for it, the vizier." And he did, not very happily. And they set off sailing again. And when they got to the middle of the sea, they poured in all the grains and seeds. And here comes the Sultan of the sea. And he said, "Thank you, thank you, thank you. Why are you here? We're looking for the princess's golden ring." "Oh, this, And he coughed, and the golden ring came right out of the Sultan's mouth and landed on the hand of the prince. And they set back home. And they came back and they handed the gold ring to the princess, and the princess nodded her head, and the feather started singing again. Story, the Sultan, the Vizier, and the Prince had all fallen in love with the princess, and they each wanted to marry her. Each said, well, I'm the Sultan, and the Vizier said, well, I paid for everything, and the Prince said, well, I did everything. They went back and forth, and the Princess said, well, it's not exactly your decision, is it? And they said, what? And she said, I will not marry any of you unless I will marry, I'll marry the one. You get a great big kettle and you fill it with lead and you heat it up until that lead melts and it is so hot and boiling, and then whichever one of you can take a bath in it, I will marry. And the Sultan said, well, that leaves me out. And the Vizier said, no, thank you. And the Prince wasn't really ready to get into a big vat of hot lead either, so he went and sat on the horse. And the horse said, wait, climb off my back. I'll be right back. Now, we've heard of this horse, this whole story, but it has always been moving slowly. But this time, this horse took off, and it galloped across the desert and came running back. It was covered with sweat. And it said to the prince, take my sweat, put it all over your whole body, and jump in the vat. And the prince did just as the horse said, and the prince was protected and climbed out of the vat. And they got married. And by now, you know what song was heard at that wedding. And for months and years after, the feather was singing. And that's our story.